I've got two. The first one is from somebody from O'Fallon, Missouri. Mitchell Klern. Is it Mitchell Klern? Mitchell? Stand up wherever you are, Mitchell. Where are you? Okay, Mitchell. Let her rip. I don't have a question on here, so you're going to have to shout one at me.
I got 7 of them.
I'll repeat the question. Don't worry. I'll repeat it so you can hear it.
Given that government health care insurance will not have to be profitable, how long can my private sector insurer even be competitive, especially when fees to providers are hammered down through the government, only to be passed on by the private insurers to the point where no one can afford them, and the only option left is the government option?
That's a real big question. Let me repeat the question for anybody who didn't hear it. Basically, he said, how can a private plan compete with a government plan when the government can subsidize it and therefore provide rates that are really not market rates? And therefore, how can we expect private companies to compete? And if they try, they're going to end up driving everyone into a public option and an all-encompassing government healthcare system, which is a really good question. I guess the best example I can give you is UPS, FedEx, and the Postal Service. The Postal Service is it just takes up time, you guys. It's less questions I can answer. This man that's very upset is not going to get a chance if you don't let me get to the answer. FedEx and UPS compete with the federal government. You can choose where you want to send your package, where you want to send your mail. By the way, they do a pretty good job of kicking the federal government around in terms of their rates and their service. They have been very successful companies competing against the federal government. I guess the key is how we set it up. And if the only public option I will support is one that's constrained, one that allows a level playing field in terms of competitiveness, one that allows the private sector to compete. It's called an option for a reason. If it's not going to be an option, then I won't support it. So that is what we've got to work out. And I think it may very well be that we will end up with something that's a co-op instead of a public option. And a co-op would be a combining and pooling of risk in a company that's a not-for-profit that could also compete with the private sector. Thank you very much for your question.